Hello everybody, just a quick video where I'm recording my phone screen. Now I want to talk about this tweet by Crypto Airy. She says JP Morgan hints the RTP network could disrupt cross-border payments. December 2022. I wish there would be all the money on XRPL, but the truth is that will not be the case. It's a huge pie of moving money and it's being carved up with solution providers, and she left a link. So before I give my opinion, I'm going to continue reading. So somebody asks, what about liquidity? Can RTP compete? And then she explains, atomic settlement is on the rise with two currencies between banks. The real-time availability of liquidity is seen with technology, then locked in before sending. About 80 milliseconds to complete, followed by a bilateral instant settlement against the validated liquidity. Okay, so I'll continue. She says Partior doesn't use a coin. I think Partior is a DOT network created by JP Morgan, or they're backing it. I'm not too sure, but I know it's linked to them in some way. And she said that that system does not use a coin. Each bank in the network runs a node. Different model, yet again, to my point, so many solutions. So what she's basically doing or saying is that XRPL is not going to be the only game in town. There's going to be multiple solutions out there, different competition out there, all trying to solve the cross-border payment solution. And she's actually right. XRPL is not going to be the only game in town, and there are going to be multiple cross-border solutions. So what she's saying isn't actually false information, because if you look out there, you would see that there are different solutions for cross-border payments, and XRPL is just one of them, and the RTP network is another solution. Now, at the moment, the RTP network isn't even a DLT-based solution. It's a system run by the clearinghouse, TCH, and it's mostly for instant domestic payments. So in the UK, we have instant domestic payments. I can send a bank payment from one bank to another bank. It doesn't matter which bank it is in the UK domestically, and it's instant because we have a real-time payment solution known as FPS, Faster Payment Services, which provides instant domestic payments. The RTP network is basically a real-time payment system run by the TCH, the clearinghouse, and it also enables instant domestic payments within the US. And another one, for example, that's coming in 2023 in the US is FedNow. And FedNow, believe it or not, is an RTP system. It's a real-time payment system. However, it's not part of the RTP network by the TCH. It's an alternative competitor to the TCH, but providing the same solution, the same ability to process payments domestically, instantly, but instead of being run by the TCH, FedNow is run by the Federal Reserve. So these are multiple solutions for payments to be instant. Now, from what I understand is that the RTP network is potentially, or they're trying to build a way to make payments cross-border now. And that's by interlinking different domestic RTP systems together. So just say we have, for example, in the USA, we have the RTP network, and then in the UK, we have the FPS system. The idea is to interlink these two separate domestic faster payment systems together in order to have cross-border payments in a fast manner. Now, this isn't a DLT-based system. I don't think their solution is DLT-based at the moment. How they're doing it isn't DLT-based, but it's still potentially another system out there that could be moving, that will be moving money, and isn't the XRPL. So if you continue down, let's see what people say. T's Crypto Spot says, you know what's interesting about this? The atomic settling portion. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but isn't rippling on the XRPL essentially atomic net settling? I'm curious to see how all this meshes together, to say the least. So what he's saying is that the XRPL also enables atomic net settling. But the thing is, it's not the only solution out there that enables atomic net settling. The RTP network probably also enables atomic net settling. Their solution to interlink, I think it's called RTP, real-time payments 2.0, which is what they're trying to call this solution, where they're able to interlink two different domestic RTP systems from different countries together in order to enable instant cross-border payments, would also enable atomic settlement. And as Crypto Airy explains, atomic settlement is on the rise with two currencies between banks. The real-time availability of liquidity is seen with technology. This is their system. Then locked in before sending, followed by a bilateral instant settlement against the validated liquidity. Now, this here isn't necessarily them using XRP. That's what I'm trying to say. So just because they have a atomic net settlement solution and XRPL also has one, it doesn't mean now, because we see them mention atomic net settlement, oh, it's automatically the XRPL. That's what I'm trying to say. That's when you connect the dots and you potentially connect the dots in the wrong manner. And then we have King Vale. He just goes on one, talking about what you do not know about. I think she's talking about something she actually does know about, because it's making sense what she's saying. I'm not going to say it, and spreading FUD as usual. Now, this is the thing, yeah? This is what I have problem within this space. Why is automatically Crypto Airy spreading FUD? Let's go back to the initial tweet. She is providing a link. How about clicking on that link and reading it? And yes, in that link, JP Morgan does hint that the RTP network could disrupt cross-border payments. So how is it FUD? Read the link. It's not FUD. You just don't like what she's saying, and you haven't got an intellectual, objective rebuttal to challenge what she's saying. So you just automatically class it as FUD, and then you say as usual. And then he goes on. When they say disrupt, they mean current financial cross-border system, which is SWIFT. Not necessarily. When they say disrupt, okay, it could be with the manner in which we send cross-border payments today is slow, archaic, it takes a long time, and there isn't much interlinking between systems. So if they are providing another solution that isn't DLT based, that interlinks systems together, okay, between different countries, real-time payment systems that are domestic to those countries, and it enables cross-border payments to be done in a much faster, instant manner. Again, that isn't necessarily using XRP. That is still disrupting what we have now. So, and JP Morgan has it on their website that they are using ISO 20022. Yes, every bank is going to be using ISO 20022 by 2025. How many banks are using? China was using ISO 20022 in 2015, I believe. India 2013. And has XRP been used by any of those countries and their RTGS, HVPS systems? No. ISO 20022, and I've said this over and over again, but CryptoVale doesn't seem to understand this, okay, has nothing to do with cryptocurrency adoption in and of itself. When you see a bank says, I'm going ISO 20022 live, now you can't come to the conclusion, oh, that bank is now using XRP on that date. Because it has nothing to do with that. ISO 20022 is just a messaging standard. The messaging standard, okay, when all the banks are on the same messaging standard, it enhances cross-border payments, it enhances interoperability, it makes it easier for messages to send in between all these banks because they are using the same standard. And guess what? It also makes it easier as well to leverage a DLT solution that has payment systems and software that can also process ISO 20022 messaging, and it also so happens to use a cryptocurrency. And banks could easily do that once they are all on the same ISO 20022 standard. But just because it's a stepping stone to potentially enable DLT systems and to be used that leverages XRP and all that XDC and XLM, whatever, yeah? Because ISO 20022 potentially enables that, it doesn't mean in and of itself, when you see ISO 20022 used or going live by a bank, that they're going to be using XRP on that date. So just because JP Morgan has it on their website, that they are using ISO 20022, and XRP is the first body, not XRP, it's actually Ripple, and Ripple is the first body member of ISO, okay, because remember, it's Ripple, the company, that has the software that can process ISO 20022 messages. XRP can't. So because Ripple is the first body member of ISO, and JP Morgan says that they're also using ISO, it does not mean now JP Morgan is going to be using XRP as soon as they become ISO 20022 live. It does not mean that at all. And then he says, bro, this woman knows nothing, and yeah, he's just hating. RTP network is operated within a currency and still requires an exporter entity like SWIFT. RTP could be set up in every bank in the world, but it would still require a bridge currency. But that's the thing. Initially, I thought RTP would require a bridge currency if they're doing it cross-border. But from what I'm looking at now, it's as if they are setting up ways where a bridge currency is not necessarily required. XRP as a potential bridge currency is not disturbed but supported by systems like RTP. So, I mean, I'm going to probably have to do a more in-depth video on this topic where I talk about RTP and Clearing Bank 2.0 and RTP 2.0 and all of this stuff, because it all sorts of ties in together. And the question is, if when they go and interlink systems together internationally, are they going to be using a cross-border currency or a neutral bridge asset, should I say, or not? I mean, they could have the potential to use it, but by default, okay, is it part of their plan to use it? That's a good question to look at, because if you actually look at the solution, and it tells you here, okay, the atomic settlement, how it works, it is not necessarily XRP just because XRP also has that solution. I've done a little post where this is what I recommend people to do, is to watch my video, will FedNow use XRP for instant domestic payments? Because I'm going to explain why. So to clarify, the RTP network, okay, isn't a DLT system. People think that the real-time payment network used by the central clearinghouse is a DLT system, and it's not a DLT system. It is a system run by TCH, the clearinghouse, and it's non-DLT based. Now, the FedNow is a similar system like the real-time payment network, but just another alternative system that is not run by the clearinghouse. The FedNow is an alternative competitor in a way that is run by the Federal Reserve. Now, the RTP network, which is run by TCH, okay, or domestic RTP solutions today, are not using DLT to provide instant payments between banks domestically. So today, we have real-time payment systems in countries, and they're not using cryptocurrency or DLT in order to facilitate instant domestic payments. Now, I did a video on FedNow when everyone came out and said they are using XRP to provide instant payments. If you watch that video and flick throughout the chapters, the information pretty much applies to how the RTP network by TCH works too. So in this video, I talk about FedNow, I talk about how it works, how they get liquidity and so on. Now, if you watch this video, okay, because FedNow and RTP network is similar in concept, but they're just run by two different systems or two different entities, should I say. One is run by the clearinghouse and the other one is run by the Federal Reserve. However, the way they operate is the same. Just imagine two different DLT systems. One is XRP, one is XLM. They both have the same concept, but they're just two different entities. So one is Ripple, one is Stellar. And that's how it is with FedNow and the TCH RTP network. So if you want to know how they work domestically, okay, then watch this video on my YouTube channel. Will FedNow use XRP for instant domestic payments? And also in this video, I talk about what I think they're going to be using. I was doing a bit of connecting the dots. This was a video 3 months ago. And I was saying that I think when it comes to internationally connecting all these systems together, they are going to be using XRP. However, now I'm not too sure whether they will be using XRP or whether they will have an alternative solution that does not involve XRP in their interlinking of these systems for cross-border payments, and that's possible as well. But even if that is the case, it's not all, oh my days, they have a system that's superior to XRP. If you think that, it just means you still do not understand the real intrinsic value of XRP and the problem it is solving and what it provides in terms of its value proposition. Because if you understand that, then it doesn't matter what they are using for their interlinking cross-border systems and whether it's DOT based or not. In the end of the day, it's either going to be superior to XRP or not superior to XRP. And you need to understand which is superior and why. Now, I'll do another video and I'll probably go into more detail on RTP. You know how where I do it on my actual computer and not my phone. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so as to not miss my next video.